Welcome back to Books My Wife Likes, where I, Michael, read books that my wife likes, and then I explain it to my friends, Russell and Dylan. You guys want to say hi?
What's going on? I'm Russell.
Hello, I'm Dylan.
Last episode was chapters 1 through 36 of A Court of Mist and Fury. Now, at the end of the episode, I did go a little bit past that because my brain could not work. That's why we did the notes and everything, so my brain could stay on point. It did not. It did not. So before we get through the rest of A Court of Mist and Fury, and I am going to tell you guys, it gets wild, I think Russell should recap last week's episode.
All right. Russell's recap.
Russell's recap. Blah, 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 blah. We need a soundboard.
We'll get there.
One day.
All right. So last episode, or the first part of ACOTAR was the...
ACOTAR, yes.
So Feyre is about to marry Tamlin.
Correct.
And then last second, Rhys comes in, does anybody protest? The whole classic. He comes in, cashes in on what was it called? The bargain?
Yeah.
Cashes in on the bargain, takes Feyre to the night court.
Mm-hmm.
And then she meets the inner circle called the Court of Dreams.
Exactly.
We're introduced to a bunch of cool characters. And I think, long story short, the king of Hybern is trying to use the cauldron to shatter the wall between the human world and the Fey world.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have to get the two parts of the Book of Breathing in order to...
Looks like your Star People today's episode, but yeah, keep going.
Oh, dude, I can't let Dylan get all the gold stars. I think that was where we left off. They're planning a heist to get the book.
Right. So actually, they had went to the Summer Court, Adriata. That's the city in the Summer Court, which I did not mention that name last episode. And they have located one half, and they were saved by the Water Wraith.
That's right.
Because they were, that was you only get one. Because she gave the jewelry to the other Water Wraith when that Water Wraith couldn't pay their tithe.
And then the callback came and saved her.
What are you reading there, Dylan?
Looking at the map.
Oh, at the map.
Oh, dude, Dylan's got a fancy looking map over here.
Do you got a fancy terminal?
Color and everything.
Oh my God, that is a great. Can the camera see that map?
If I switch it to my camera, it's a fancy map.
I feel like we need to print that out and put it behind.
Oh yeah, like a poster. Yeah, dude,
Or we could buy the poster because we do not have color. We just print in black and white here at this business here.
Yeah, we're a bit poor here. So
we just call it noir.
Right, yeah, noir. So before I get into Amy's what I got wrong from last episode, because that's the first thing she's going to point out is what I got wrong. I do want to give y'all some member berries to eat before we get into today's episode.
All right.
Do you guys remember what mating is?
I remember.
Can you explain mating to us?
So it's not like marriage. It's literally like they mate and then they are connected for life. And so that's what is it Rhys's mom and dad did, and that's why Rhys's dad saved his mom's
turned the soldiers into mist. Yep. And then Tamlin's father, I believe, mated with his mom too, which I think they liked each other. Rhys, and you don't even have to like each other. It's just a bond. It's a very, very strong bond that can drive a Fae crazy. And then another member berry is, you guys remember what Calamai is, right?
Calamai? Mm-hmm. Is that the ceremony? Or?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
So remember at that ceremony, that was the first time she had met Rhys. And there were two other Faes that had grabbed her, three other Faes that grabbed her. And then he walks up and says, "There you are." And the other three disperse because they obviously know who Rhys is. So those were just some member berries that I want to give to you because some of that stuff might come back in this episode. Now, I'm pulling out my phone to read what I got wrong from my wife.
Is it a long list this time?
No. A lot of the stuff that I got wrong was actually not supposed to be in last episode. It's supposed to be in this episode because I went a little bit past chapters 36. So, Illyrians, like normal lesser Faes, take forever to age, which I don't even know how I got that wrong. I don't even know when I brought that up. Illyrians don't cut off the wings, they clip them, which feels kind of samey. Yeah. Cass is not half Illyrian. He's just a bastard. I had a misspoke on that. Rhys is half Illyrian. Cass and Azriel, they're full Illyrian. They're just bastards. Okay. And then I told you guys about the rubies that the Summer Court had sent, right?
3 rubies. One for Rhys, one for Feyre, and then one for who's the third?
Can he do it? And
More?
Amryn.
Oh, Amryn.
Yeah. So those are blood rubies, which that's all she was clarifying on, is that those were blood rubies. And the funniest part about it too is Rhys is like, fuck, you know, I really wanted to be allies, and he didn't want to do any trickery to get those or anything like that. He is more concerned about protecting people. He wants peace. He wants to live in a time of peace for once in his fucking life. Amryn sees those, and remember, Amryn's this, we don't know what Amryn is. It's some kind of deity beyond a rift or something. We don't know what she is, but she sees those and she's like, fuck yeah, I love jewelry. Like, nice. We got that book, the Book of Breathings, and that. Yeah. This is the best day. So another thing that I got wrong was Moore's story. And the only part of that story I really got wrong, I didn't go into in depth about what had happened, but I said that they had dropped Moore off on the border of the Night Court. So I'm going to start over with Moore's backstory. Moore, when Moore was born, or when she eventually bled, like they said, it like made mountains shake. She had so much power. So she was promised to Eris, who is Lucian's brother. And we know Lucian's brothers are dicks. So she did not want to marry him. Rhys ended up taking her to an Illyrian camp, and when she saw Cassian, she was like, ooh, if I fuck him, then that'll ruin my chances with Eris, and I won't have to marry him. So she did that. She slept with Cassian, and then when her family found out, because Eris was like, I'm not marrying you. I'd rather fucking fuck a cow or a pig. What's a sow?
Cow.
Okay, a cow.
Well, no, I think sow is pig.
Yeah, stop using real animals in my fantasy land. Call it a truffle boar or something like that. Like, you give me a fake animal.
Yeah, I think a cow one is a heifer.
Yeah, so her family beat the shit out of her, beat the dog shit out of her, and then left her at the border of the Autumn Court with a note nailed to her stomach. And pretty much just like, fucking fuck you, die. And that's when Azriel found her, and then she started going to the Night Court and became part of the Court of Dreams. All right, so that covers, because the first thing, I got just 1 page of notes. That's it. This is all I got to look through. I ain't got to flip through anything. So we got through the blood rubies. That's where we're at. We have a half of the Book of Breathings. Now, do you remember?
They got it from there? I thought the book ran away when she...
No. So it tried to trap them in and then drown them.
But they had it.
They have it. They have
so when they escaped, they still had it with them.
Right. And when the cauldron was created, they used the rest of the molten metal from that to make the Book of Breathings. And that is the only thing that can depower the cauldron. And you guys are going to find out in this episode how powerful that cauldron can be. So hope y'all are ready. Now, we go from there. So they get the book. You know, Rhys is tore up about it because he just got the blood rubies. Amryn is very, very excited. I almost fucked up and put one spot in a different place. But they had already kind of started training. They had already started training with Cassian. Feyre did. Well, they go back to train with Cassian, and we find out, like, they start talking about the other lords. Because remember, we know, you know, the Tarquin from the Summer Court, obviously Rhys, Tamlin. So we still have Baron. He's from the Autumn Court. That is Lucian's father, and we know he's a dick. All right. We have, I'm going to get this wrong because it only comes up one time, and then like while I'm doing, I look at a chapter breakdown to kind of like get the notes back. It's Callius. He's the winner. And then we have Helion. He's from the Day Court. Which court am I missing? Because there should be one more. Let's see. We got autumn, winter, spring. Oh, summer. So Tarquin. And then we got day, night, which is Rhys. And then the Dawn Court.
Dawn.
Yeah. So Dawn. I don't think I have the Don one here. He might not have been mentioned yet. All right, so her and Rhys have been sending like love notes back and forth to each other. I know while they're training, like her and Rhys, they like go in there, like go into Rhys's wings. This is obviously like them fleshing out they're starting to flirt big time. They're starting to, get along with each other, which is this whole book. I'm like, y'all just fuck, man. Just do it. Just do it so we can kind of get past it, because the only thing with like A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury is like, as it goes back and forth, they kind of, the same thoughts go through someone's mind. Like, he's bad. He's such a dick. He's such a smartass. And then after they do it, it finally like progresses how they think about one another. And that's just what I wanted to happen during this. It's time to meet the mortal queens. So that's who has the second half of the Book of Breathings. Remember, to get the second book, they can't do any kind of trickery, nothing like that. They have to be given that book.
Otherwise, it'll disappear, right?
Right. Otherwise, it'll just disappear, go away. That's probably what you had thought about with the last one. So they go to the mortal lands. They go to Nesta and Elaine's house. Dad's off somewhere trading, actually. He is, he's got the money back again so he can do his business stuff. So he is retired from sitting in front of a fire and whittling wood, which, good to hear. We hear that. So there's 6 mortal queens. One of them, the oldest one, did not come because she's sick. But there's a really young one. What's funny is she's like, the 6 mortal queens come in, and they're all fugly as shit except one, which was this golden-haired young queen. There's 2. They're like, I don't know, yin and yang. One's wearing black, one's wearing white. And then the other 2, I can't fucking remember, but there's 2 more. I don't know how important a role they play in the next book, but I didn't write down the descriptions of them. So they sit down, and pretty much Rhys is telling them, look, a war's coming. I know I have all these stigmas that I am, this monster who goes around killing people, and I'm Amarantha's right-hand man, but all of that is wrong. I just want to protect my people. I want to protect humans as well, and I want peace. To which the queens are like, bullshit, dog, you evil. Of course, yeah, we're going to come down here. You know how to manipulate minds and stuff. You ain't going to trick us, because, essentially, Rhys is a trickster. And they're like, you're not going to trick us. We don't believe you at all. So Moore stands up, and she's like, I am the Morgan. Her power apparently is like truth. And she tells them that Rhys is good. They still don't believe her. So their idea is, Rhys's idea is, he wants to show them Valeris, the City of Starlight, what he's kept hidden from everything else, what he kept hidden from Amarantha and the rest of the world so it wouldn't get attacked. The best way to do that is to go and get orb. It's called the Veritas. So the Veritas, you cannot lie. And the humans used to wield it, so the mortal queens know what it is. During the conversation, Miriam is brought up again. So Miriam was a half fae, half human that was born in the Blacklands. The Blacklands is like, it was terrible. The Queen of the Blacklands made Amarantha look terrible, or made Amarantha look great, like a kind, loving person. That's how bad it was. So when Miriam was born, they were like, you don't get any of the fae privileges because you're part human, and they pretty much cast her aside. So eventually, she actually works her way up and gets what is promise? Is it betrothed? Is that the promise of marriage?
Yeah.
So she gets betrothed to this guy, Draken. Draken, he's leading an army against Amarantha because they want the slaves freed. So she goes to Draken. Draken's like, look, what? Betrothed to me. I want somebody to fucking fall in love. I don't want somebody to be promised.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I am going to fall in love with somebody, I want them to fall in love with me. So he frees her. He's like, look, just go and do whatever you got to do. So Miriam ends up joining Jurian's army. Remember, Jurian is the one that killed Amarantha's sister and he hates Fays with every single ounce of his being.
Isn't that what Hybern, like the king, is trying to
Yeah,
bring back?
trying to
Tyrion?
resurrect him.
Yeah.
For what purpose? I don't fucking know. But you know what I'm saying? I guess with some stuff we find out later, that's what he's using. But which I mean, I could say it in this, but yeah. So she goes to Jurian's camp, and while they are fighting against Amaranth's forces, they are joined by Draken and his army. So they come to the camp, and what ends up happening is while Draken's staying at Jurian's camp, Miriam falls in love with him, and they're like, "Look, we love each other." So she decides to be with Draken. Jurian ends up fighting against Amaranth's forces. He gets taken, tortured, and killed. And it is presumed that Miriam and Draken died trying to free slaves. It is presumed. We find out they're both actually living, and just everybody has decided, especially like in the Court of Dreams, they know that she is alive, but they're deciding to keep it a secret.
Okay.
All right. So they leave. They're like, okay, we need to get the Veritas.
You know, that's actually Latin for truth.
Is it really? Did
think
you look
so.
that up, or did you know that?
Well, back in the day, you have the Boondock Saints, and one of them has Veritas, and the other one has Equatius. It's truth and justice.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at that. Learned me something today. Look, I might take your Star Pupil Star away and give it to Dylan. Over here teaching people.
That's not a pupil, though. He's a teacher. He gets to start teacher.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
No.
I'm
just
just,
trying to keep
raising
my
my
gold
hand. I'm like,
stars.
teacher.
Teacher, did you know this? Did you know when my daddy gets real mad, he'll sometimes like grab my mom and start shaking her? And it's like, whoa, God.
Can you write that down on your little journal there?
Yeah,
so that
let's write that down, and you just sign your name at the bottom so I can maybe send your proud work to the principal's office. So they have to go get the Veritas, which means they have to head to Hune, the City of Nightmares, or the Court of Nightmares. And remember, Morris from there, she got beat, left at the Autumn Court, and then now she's part of the Court of Dreams. Before they go there, Rhys doesn't want her to go, but is like, look, you can make the choice if you want to go or not. And she decides to go. So the role that she is kind of going to play is like Rhys took her from Tamlin to make a statement. You know what I'm saying? Like it's her whore now, or it's his whore now, and
Talking
his
about Feyre, right?
sex slave. Yeah. Who did I say?
You were talking
we
about
went from
more.
more.
Oh, no, Feyre.
Okay.
Sorry. Good.
In his mind theater, he had already switched characters.
Yeah,
Just didn't inform us about it.
That's why there's two of y'all here. I can never do this with one of y'all because there has to be somebody to remind me. Mike, you know what you're talking about, but everybody else doesn't. But yeah, he tells Feyre. Feyre wants to go. He doesn't want her to go. He wants her to be protected, but also at the same time, he's like, look, you're gonna have to experience these things anyways. So they go to Hune, and what's funny is they get on the throne, or Rhys sits on the throne, and then he makes Feyre come sit on his lap, and they're doing this whole thing where like he's like rubbing her thigh and shit like that to show that he owns her. And there's one part where like he leans in and like bites her ear, and I'm like, man, if I was in Prythian and going through Feyre's role, but like reversed and bit my because she was like I had to show nothing and just stare and look, I'd have been like my ear. That's the same ear Papa used to bite.
You want to hear the backstory of that? Two daddies judging baddies.
Right? Yeah, they don't know any of Mike's lore. So we meet Keir. Keir is Moor's father, which I was like, is Keir short for like Kiergan? Because Moore is Morgan, and my wife was like, "No, shut the fuck up," trying to guess stuff. And I was like, I thought they shortened their name, so I thought that would be like a father-daughter thing. So they're there pretty much to distract everybody, to hold court at the Court of Nightmares, so Azriel and Cassian can go get the fucking orb. Well, Azriel can go get the orb. So Azriel steals the orb, and Keir is such a dumb motherfucker. Like, he's a dumbass because as Feyre walks by him, he's like, you're going to get what's coming to you, whore. With a dude that knows what's going on. Like, he's looking at your mind. He can hear super well. Why the fuck would you say that? So Rhys then proceeds to break his arm in like 19 different places. Yeah. So then he starts like breaking the fingers on the other hand, starts breaking his arms on the other arm. And then he says, if I find out that you get a healer, I'm going to fucking kill you. Yeah. So he has to just
deal with
suffer through those, which, I mean, you find out in like the Illyrian camps too, people would, they would break people's legs and just be like, let it heal naturally. And they'd be like, after so much time, they would finally start to walk again. But Fays do live way longer than people do.
You're only out for 5 years.
Yeah, you're only down for 5 years out of the thousands you're going to live. So barely even a bit of time is
like
wasted.
being out of work for a month with like a broken leg.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's fine.
All right. So after all of that, they got the orb. They go back to Valeris. And I don't know why or what possessed Feyre to do this, but she just starts talking shit to Rhys. She's just like, you're just scared. You're scared that you're going to let down all these masks and people still won't fucking accept you, which shuts Rhys down naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rhys has been all good, thoughts, actions, everything. We understand Rhys is a solid fucking dude. And she's just like, bam, I'm going to hit you where it hurts. So he shuts down and fucking takes off. A celebration called, because they've been sending the notes back to each other, and now she's sending a bunch of notes to Rhys, and he ain't answering them. So this celebration called Starfall is going to happen, where a bunch of stars, in quotations, shoot across the sky. We found out during Starfall, it's not stars, but it's like spirits shooting through. So her and Rhys eventually make up at the Starfall celebration.
See, I thought you were going to say that like it was legitimate stars falling, and then I was going to be like, flat Earth.
Right now, they're like shooting across the Illyrians again. And like, there it is. I'm telling you, man, it does not. We got wings. If I fly up there, I don't see any curves. I don't see any curves when I'm flying up. I see as far as the eye can see. So you riddle me that. How's that work? And then the poor people without wings, because they can't go up there and they're just getting told by an Illyrian. It's like, yeah, I mean, I fly straight up. I don't see a bit of curvature. And they're just like, well, maybe it is.
This is a good angle for us to take. We're flat Prythians.
Right, yeah, flat Prythians. Yeah. So we find out that they're actually spirits. Rhys and her talk and kind of, get past the whole her just being a dick for no reason. Because it did come out of fucking nowhere that he was an asshole. And as they're talking and playing, one of the spirits hits Feyre in the face and she gets covered in spirit goo. Yeah, I don't.
Goo?
Yeah.
But they don't call it that in the book.
No, they're like, it's like glowing paint, but I'm like semen. If you tell me it's spirits, I'm sorry. I think semen. Rhys gets hit by it too. Or Rhys gets hit first. I believe, yeah, he gets hit first, and Feyre like busts out laughing, and then she gets hit. No, she gets hit first. Rhys laughs, and then Rhys gets hit. But yeah, they're having a fucking good old time, okay? They're getting hit by spirits. They're dancing. They're having the fun celebration. So the next day, they decide that they are going to go to an Illyrian camp to train. This Illyrian camp is ran by a guy named Devlin. So far that I know, Devlin's not crucial, especially ongoing in the books. We do know that Devin is one of the only Illyrian camps that fuck with Rhys, because remember, Rhys is half Illyrian, and if you ain't full Illyrian, they don't like you, brother, okay? They're not. It's like, it's not that we don't like you. It's just that we really like us. You know what I'm saying? People get it wrong all the time. But yeah, I'm sorry, but the Illyrians, the more you hear about them, it's just like, y'all are Nazis. Like,
little German.
Yeah, people will be like, fucking team Illyrians. And I'm like, no, there's a couple Illyrians that I like, but for the majority, they don't like women, which that's one thing about Devlin's camp too, is they're training up the women. Actually, when Rhys gets there, he finds out that they are doing chores before they could do that. And they're like, fucking get him out there and train. A lot of the other places have stopped doing the wing clipping, but because they're trying to train women to be warriors. But a lot of women get berated and shit, so they end up leaving the camps and stuff. So we find out about Devlin. He likes Rhys. He actually allows Rhys, Azriel, and Cassian to do what is called a blood rite, where they go under the mountain and they don't get, any magic. All that's turned off and pretty much have to go through. I think they get a weapon, but they just have to go through just pure skill alone and make it out. So the three end up killing their way because they get separated under the mountain, but they ended up killing their way to each other. So he allowed them to do that. I think that's pretty much it with Devlin. If I did miss anything, then people will obviously let me know. Here's where shit starts getting real, okay? So, Rhys and Feyre decide to go off training on their own. And they are down by a river where they're in a van down by a river where Feyre is practicing her water powers. Yeah. And she's like, hey, you know, I want to know what happened between you and Tamlin. He's like, show me something cool. We could do that. So she makes like a dog or something like that. And he's like, you know, he met Tamlin. I think he went to the Court of Springs or the Spring Court went up to him. That's the Court of Springs, Spring Court. Or they came up to him. They met. So he knew Tamlin's dad and Tamlin's brothers, and they were dicks, and he did not like them. But Tamlin was not a dick. So he was like, I fucked with Tamlin. Tamlin seemed like a good person. So him and Tamlin end up forming a friendship. He speaks about training at the Illyrian camps, and then when he gets done, he goes and seeks out Tamlin to hang out with him. Tamlin's father sees them hanging out, and at this point, both Tamlin and Rhys are stronger than him. He doesn't like that they're friends because they're both stronger than him and they're hanging out. So he thinks like fucky shit is afoot. So Rhys is at a camp training, and his mom and sister are coming to meet him. So Tamlin knows this, and he goes up and tells his father, and him and his father and his two brothers go and kill Rhys's mom and sister.
What?
Cut their wings off, hang them in their house, cut their heads off, and sends them to the camp.
Oh, man.
A guy he befriended.
So is this the flashback or is this current?
He's telling
why he doesn't
Feyre
like Tamlin.
Why him and Tamlin.
The history between him and
Right.
Tamlin. Okay.
I don't know why Tamlin's still alive.
So, she's like, then what happened? And he's like, show me another thing cool. So he shows her she shows him another thing cool. I think she freezes the dog. the little dog she made. Yeah. So Rhys and his father are like, they're fucking, you know, that destroyed him on the end, especially Rhys. He loved his mommy and his sissy. So he's up fucking set. So they head down to the Spring Court, and Rhys kills Tamlin's two brothers. Rhys's father kills Tamlin's dad and his mom, which Rhys did not know he was going to do. He thought that he was going to leave his mom out of it because Tamlin's mom, I think, was good. Like, she was a good person. But he does kill his mom. So him and his dad, remember, the High Lord, Rhys doesn't have you don't have High Lord powers until the High Lord is dead. They head to Tamlin's room. Tamlin opens the door. He smells what's going on. He understands what's going on. And with one swipe of his hand, kills Rhys's father. So Tamlin told his father, I don't think he by his hands killed the mom and sister, but we know that he told them the location and then went with them for the murder. So really, Tamlin was behind the death of Rhys's mom, sister, and father. Killed his father with his own hands. They both got the powers of High Lord right there looking at each other, and Rhys took off because he didn't know what to do.
Because he wasn't as powerful as what he is now.
Right.
He didn't know how to wield that type of strength.
He did not know how to, wield that type of energy.
So is he just biding his time right now? Is that from then to right now? Is he just kind of waiting to get revenge, or what's going on?
No, I mean, that's why he just gives Tamlin a whole bunch of shit. That's why he takes every opportunity to shit on Tamlin. To fucking that's how much he hates Tamlin. Rightfully so. Rightfully so hates Tamlin. And
oh, now that makes sense for the wedding. It's just oh, you're about to get nope.
Yep, taking it at a precise moment. But we're actually going to find out in a little bit that Rhys was kind of hurt while a lot of this stuff between Feyre and Tamlin was going on. So Feyre's like, I'm going to go off a little bit farther to train. This might have been the next day that this happens. So she goes off farther than Rhys to train. Now, Rhys cannot show his powers while he's training in camps in Illyria because he has enemies out there. And if he shows his powers, they'll be able to detect him. So they end up splitting up, and Feyre goes to train when all of a sudden she gets surrounded by Lucian and Bronn and Hart. Bronn and Hart, I didn't mention who they were. I might have last episode, but when Ianthe was doing all the wedding stuff, we meet Bronn and Hart, and she's like, ooh, I'm going to fucking take one of you. Because remember, Ianthe's like that, but fucking evil monster bitch. But she's like, I'm going to take one of y'all. And there was another sentinel there too, but he wasn't named.
There's a lot of women taking sex slaves in these books.
There is, yeah. So
if I could only be so lucky.
So Lucian says, hey, you got to come home. And she's like, fuck you, that's not my home. And he's like, it's real bad with Tamlin. You have to come back. All the shit with Ianthe got out of control. You have to come home and fix all this. And she's like, I'm not no fucking dog. I'm free here. I'm not coming back. So Lucian then tries to grab her, and she winnows past fucking Lucian. And when they turn around, she's standing right next to Rhys.
Nice.
So Lucian is sitting there trying to essentially like, oh, boohoo Tamlin. Everything's so bad. And she tells them enough. Finally, she gets mad enough. You know, her shape-shifting powers where she had the claws and everything. She shape-shifted the Illyrian wings on her back. Yeah. And she looks like, I think she got like shadows dancing around her and shit. And she's like, I am not fucking going back. So she's like, leave. And then Lucian does look at Rhys and was like, you and all your cursed people are dead. It is still of my belief, man. Even I've finished this book and we're going to get into some more stuff, but I still, man, I don't think Lucian's bad. I think his ties with Tamlin is because Tamlin saved him from his brothers. You know, he killed 2 of his brothers with Tamlin. And I think that he is kind of blinded by that and wanting to fix everything. I don't think he is just inherently a bad person. He has tried to convince Tamlin time and time again to let her train. She needs to be powerful, all this stuff. It's almost like everything that's good that's happened is because of Lucian. Remember, he told her how to catch the Suriel and everything. So I just don't think he's bad. So they go back to this inn, and they're like flirting around and talking to each other. And Feyre is just like, look, we don't even have to do stuff because we love each other. I just want to have fun. So Rhys finger bangs her. Yep. We have gotten to finger banging. I don't know.
It took us a book and a half to get to
the thing
second
with
base.
yeah, which Tamlin, it was just like sex, and Rhys was just like finger banged. That bam, there's fun. But also you have to understand too that Rhys went through 50 years of having sex with a woman he did not want to fuck, and just the torment and shit. So he has like the sexual trauma and shit where he's just not like, I'm gonna have sex with you immediately. All right, so they are leaving the inn, and I mean, I just know when we got to the finger bang, and I was like, oh, something bad's gonna happen, because it feels like the love goes up, everything's good, everything's happy.
Yeah.
They're flying back to the Illyrian camp, and all of a sudden Rhys gets shot down with ash arrows that are coated in poison.
Oh, shit.
So he throws Feyre away so she doesn't land where he lands and gets captured. So she lands in the forest, and there's a bunch of monsters, crazy fucking monsters in the forest, and she ends up shape-shifting her eyes to be able to see at night, like animal eyes. Yeah, she's got a lot of fucking powers, and she's like winnowing through the fucking trees and shit so they can't get like a grasp on her. So she gets out of the forest, and she is able to track where Rhys had fell. She gets to his track marks, and she sees that he's bleeding, and there are a bunch of footprints. So she follows him. She goes all the way to this cave, and she winnows inside and kills all the guards. Yeah. Slits the first 2, she like winnows behind them and then slits their throats with ash arrows. Yeah. And then there's 2 more coming, and she just like winnows, fucking stabs them immediately. Like she is starting to get stupid fucking powerful.
So she's fucking badass now, dude.
Yeah. So
Makes me want to read these books.
you should just start doing it.
I know that I want to get to enjoy you explaining it to me.
I mean, what you could do is, no, because if you're a book behind, then I'd just be spoiling the books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to read it quick.
Yeah. Maybe we could just make Dylan our just the one who has to take in all this information. So when she finds Rhys, he is chained up. They have turned his back into hamburger meat, whipping him. He is chained up with these chains that are from Hybern, that are mined from underneath Hybern, that completely takes away a Fae's strength.
Okay.
Makes him powerless. So she ends up getting him down. She's pulling the arrows out, which I don't know why, but I was like, damn, is Rhys about to die? Because she's like talking about all these memories of painting with her sisters and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, fuck, he's about to die. Like, or something crazy is going to happen. And he didn't. After he got that last ash arrow out, like his blood started clotting and everything. So there's poison on the arrows. So she's like, fuck, I have to figure out how to neutralize this poison. She don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? But there is a Fae that when you ask it, has to tell you the truth, and it fucking knows everything. Do y'all remember what it's called?
Dylan?
She went out and captured it in the woods in the first book. Nope. A cereal. So, yep. Here's the funny thing, too. Like, the first time she caught it, it was with a chicken. This time she had a cloak. But I really feel like the cereal just likes to spill tea, dog. Like, the cereal's just like, I want to lay some heavy shit out there. Remember, the first time the cereal was like, stay close to the High Lord. And she did not mean, and the cereal didn't mean Tamlin. So I think the cereal's just like walking through the woods, like, oh no, a trap. I might fall in and have to give some information. Oh my God. Oh, I got caught. Damn. All right, who's ready for me to tell him some shit? Clicking his fingers, just looking around. So she's like, hey, what poisoned Rhys? Or what poison is this? Cereal's like, Bloodbane. Cereal's like, I'm only giving you 2 questions, and then I'm going to be fucking pissed if you don't let me go. She's like, all right, Bloodbane. It's like, where's the cure for it? It's like, somewhere in the forest. That's it. Bam. That's what the cereal gave her. And then without any, that's the 2 questions. But then the cereal was like, also, your blood, you have healing blood from one of the High Lords. You got to make them drink that.
Okay.
Also, if you want to heal your mate, then you have to find a flower that grows by the water and, feed it to him. And she's like, my what?
Mate.
Yep. She's like, Rhys is her mate.
Yeah.
So she's like, what the fuck? How long? Because Rhys obviously would know this. And she's like, how long would Rhys know that he is my mate?
Instantly.
Yeah, so she gets pissed and she heads back to the cave. Now, what's funny is Rhys was about to tell her this, flying, because he was like, there's something else I got to tell you. And then he gets shot down.
Of course.
Yeah. Because I was like, ooh, yeah. And then it was like, oh, he starts getting fucking hit with arrows. I'm like, no, every time I want to learn backstory, this happens. So she goes back to the cave. She makes Rhys drink her blood, starts feeding him the flowers. And she's like, how long did you know about me being your mate? And at first, I think Rhys kind of told her a little bit, but I'm going to wait because they get into an argument. Feyre's super mad about it, which here's the thing too, is why would Rhys tell her, hey, you're my mate? Like he would never force that or put that on her that, and that's how I viewed it too. Like that's a very good thing that he did not tell her that. She fell in love with him naturally instead of putting some kind of pressure on her to fall in love. Because if you deny a mate, it fucks them all up. Mm-hmm. So he withheld that. So, fucking, they would fall, she would be free to, if she wanted to fall in love with him or go back to Tamlin.
Yeah, but he lied. He lied to her.
Mm-hmm. That's what, she kept going on about. So they eventually go back to the Illyrian camp.
What were you going to say, Russell?
Oh, yeah. What were you going to say?
I've already lost my train of thought.
All right.
We need to keep going.
All right, so they go back to the Illyrian camp.
Thank you, though, Dylan.
Bitch, I'm telling the story. Like, was you about to throw in some information? He's like, yeah, I actually read this part. So they go back to the Illyrian camp. She tells more. She's like, take me away from this place. I don't want to see him. And Rhys is obviously still fucked up and hurt. And yeah, I know. Just being a dick to him for, once again, no reason. Why are we doing this? So Moore takes her to a cabin. She's sitting at the cabin. She starts like painting the cabin with the Court of Dream members and everything. And she's like, fuck, I was too hard on Rhys. I feel so bad about it. Moore said she'll be back in 3 days. She hears a knock at the door. She opens it. It's Rhys. So Rhys sits down and Feyre's like, I'm going to make you some food. And Rhys says, really? And she's like, why? And it's like, when your mate, that's like how you kind of consummate the mating is the woman makes the guy food, and then he eats it, and then that pretty much secures the mating bond. So she's like, look, I'm going to cook this, and then I'm going to let you explain to me everything that happened. And if I give you the food at the end of it, that means obviously, you know, if I forgive you, then I'll give you the food at the end of it. So we find out that 500 years ago during the war, Rhys was captured. Remember, I told y'all that when they first met, and then they were like, we're not going to talk about that right now. And I'm like, damn it. So we find out Rhys was captured, and he was in Hybern. They had him in the chains where he could use none of his powers. And at this point, Amarantha doesn't know who he is. All she thinks that what he is the High Lord's son, because the High Lord's still alive at this point. So they're, you know, trying to torture him for information and everything. Well, Amarantha and Jurian's battle takes place. And he thinks that Jurian's going to kill Amarantha, but it does not happen. She takes Jurian to the camp, tortures him, and then kills him. So when he goes back home, his dad's like, you're a bitch for getting captured. Fuck you for getting captured, you dork. You dork. So he hates Amarantha because Amarantha tortured him out there. His dad dies. Amarantha's like starting to trying to, get into all the courts and make everybody like her. And Rhys is like, no, y'all don't know what kind of monster this is. So that's kind of like how his bond with Tamlin started, because Tamlin was also like, this bitch is a monster. Then everything happens. His mom and sister die. The curse happens to Tamlin and all them, the mask, and then they lose their power. But Rhys is still full power. So he's like, I'm going to go try to be buddy-buddy with her, and then I'm going to kill her. So he goes down to under the mountain, and he's making buddy-buddy with Amarantha. And on the night that he was going to kill Amarantha, he thought he was, tricking her and that he was going to do it. But he drank some wine and had nobody to tell him that wine was fucking poison, had a curse on it. Mm-hmm. So it took away a lot of his power. So then, Amarantha started the whole thing about he had to be her sex slave. So immediately, right when his power's about to deplete, he just does this big magical thing where he wipes Valeris out of the people in A Court of Nightmares' minds and tells his friends, I'm fucked. Do not come out of a Court of Dreams. Don't come out of Valeris, because then they're going to know what's going on. And then proceeded to have to be Amarantha's sex slave. The woman who tortured him and fucking just started this whole war, which was a big catalyst to, the king of Hybern started the war, but she's one of the generals, which was a catalyst to his family dying and everything that's happened and Prythian going to shit. So while he's there, he starts having visions, like all his hope is gone, but he starts having visions and dreams of a girl painting. Like he sees a girl hand, he sees her painting, he starts to have dreams of Feyre. And he's like, who the fuck is this? So on the night of Calanmine, at first the dreams are not strong. And then Tamlin brings her over the wall. And the dreams become stronger. And he has a vision of her at Calanmine. So he knows where she is. So he tells Amarantha, I need to go here to make sure Tamlin's in line and everything. And he goes to Calanmine. And remember, the first thing he ever said to Feyre was, there you are. So he had found the girl that he had been having dreams about. And he realizes Feyre doesn't know who the fuck he is. So he's like, damn, this is like a one-sided thing.
Yeah.
They go to under the mountain, and, he's there helping Feyre out. Also, she starts hearing music. We find out that Rhys had sent her that music to kind of cheer her up. He's healed her, everything like that. So he then finds out when Amarantha's about to kill him, or kill Feyre, that Feyre is her mate. Remember, Tamlin's sitting there begging with Amarantha not to kill her. And Rhys lunges at her with a knife. Like, Tamlin's sitting there begging, and Rhys lunges, gets shoved back. Feyre gets her neck broken by Amarantha. And I didn't explain this either. There's some things I won't go into depth about, but I guess if it ties in. When they go see the bone carver, also with the bone carver, he revealed himself as an 8-year-old boy to Feyre. Mm-hmm. But to Rhys, he revealed himself as Jurian. Yeah. So they didn't know why that was going on. But the bone carver talks about, he asked Feyre, like, what was death like? And she remembers that she was being tethered. There was a tether, and one was pulling her towards home. And we find out that was Rhys. Rhys was using his mind powers to try to, like, pull her back to the living, and then he tells all the other High Lords, like, hey, we need to go and do this thing so we can resurrect her. Yeah.
So that's how she gets the powers of all the High Lords.
All the
'cause they
High Lords.
all have.
Yep, because they all went and resurrected her. That's what gave her the powers. And then he's out there on the balcony after Amarantha's dead and everything, and he's talking to Feyre, and he realizes that she is very much so in love with Tamlin, the person who's behind all of his family dying. So he's just like, he has to fly home. He flies home, and he tells Mor and Cassian and Azriel, because he's so fucking, like, this is a bond stronger than anything.
Yeah.
And he sees that she's in love with Tamlin. So also what's crazy is he showed up. Remember when he had Tamlin like begging and pleading on the floor and shit? He did that so Tamlin would send her away. Because he was all fucked up about her being in love with Tamlin. So he's like, he'll send her away and shit like that. He gave Amarantha Claire's name. He didn't think Claire Better was a real person. So they killed Claire Better's family, took her up there to be tortured. So Rhys pretty much took her mind away so she would not feel any pain, and then was like, scream when you think you should scream. Yeah, so he fucking made sure that she didn't feel any pain during her death, which, honestly, Rhys should not feel bad about that. Feyre should feel bad about it, because Feyre's just like, oh, I'm going to give him my neighbor's name. Here's my neighbor's name, because she knows there's repercussions. She don't want to give up her family, so. But still, it's the actions that show you who the good person is. And she had told Rhys Claire Better's name, and he took away her pain and everything. So he tells her all of that. All this shit comes back around, and you're like, fuck, crazy. And Feyre ends up giving him the soup, to which he eats, fully fleshing out their mating bond. Yeah. So it is, they fuck. Yeah, I mean, he like immediately, he just like eats her out on the table, and they go at it multiple times, which Rhys tells her, is natural during the mating process. And Rhys such a Chad too, because she's like, what about babies? And he was like, you ain't got to bear no kids unless you wanted to do that. Like, just always being that, freedom and caring about her and what's going on with her.
So for Russell to get more information from this part of the book, which page was this part on?
Science.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Which I don't know. The finger bang scene was like
More graphic than this?
Well, I mean, after the eating out scene, yeah, I put the finger bang scene more.
Did he go through and like give you like tips and tricks on how to?
No, we did that in the, what was it, like the 4th or 5th episode of MADHD? We did the whole cunnilingus training. But, Russell, you don't know this, or maybe you do know this, but we had a listener who was like, my husband didn't do that for 40 years.
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
20 years. And then she listened to our podcast, so he would be hearing it. And then one night, he finally
Did that?
did it, yeah. So I was just like, look what we did, buddy.
Bringing people together.
We're the reason for an orgasm. Just look, All right. Now,
So they hook up.
So now it is time to have the meeting with the Mortal Queens, because they got to get the book. So they go back to Nesta and Elaine's house. And Nesta the whole time, she's like, she insulted the queens the first time. They don't like Nesta. And pretty much they're hardballing a Court of Dreams. They're like, we don't believe you. We think you're lying. And Mor's like, I'm the Morgan. Like, my power is truth. And we have the Veritas, which is truth. Like, we can't lie to you. So they're being dicks, and they're like, we're not giving you the orb. And also, I think only 3 showed up this time. Remember, the 6th was sick. So 2 of them just didn't even come.
Yeah.
So they all stand up to leave, and they're like, fuck, this was useless. But the young golden-haired queen left the book on a chair as she left. And it was like a note that was like, because Rhys pretty much said, I love Feyre. And I love someone who is fey and half human, and I want to save both sides. And she's like, I believe you. So she left them the book. And now they have both sides of the book. So they head back to Valeris, and I think it is, Feyre and Cassian are like down by a river talking, and they look over.
Down by the river.
Every time.
First thing I thought
In
of.
a van down by the river. But they're talking, and they look over, and they see a black mass heading through the sky, and they realize it's soldiers. Yep.
You said mass?
Yeah, black mass, a mass of black. And as
like
it
a
gets
flock.
closer,
Yeah, no, I just thought I heard mask, and I was like,
no, it's a mass. And as it gets closer, she realizes it's the adder and a lot of adder-like demons with, I guess it has some Illyrians. It's Hybern's forces coming, and they start attacking and killing people in Valeris. So Cassian and Azriel take off, and they are fighting in the sky, killing a whole bunch of the warriors. Yep.
so the whole reason Valeris was like hidden was because of Rhys. So how do they now know?
Because
about...
that was what the orb was for, to show them Valeris and that there was a
okay.
city of peace and that Rhys did care about peace. So he showed them that. He didn't want to take them there because they would know the way, but because he showed them bitches went back and fucking told. them
the
bitches,
witches did?
Yeah. No, the mortal queens.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
Which, I mean, they can winnow and shit, so they're kind of like witches. But they go back and pretty much spill the beans. So the adder, like, nails up the golden-haired young queen. She's dead. They killed her, so he's, like, nailing her up while everybody's fighting. The crazy part is Amren's out there, and she's pointing at motherfuckers, and they die. Like, they're all out there fighting. Everybody's out there fighting. Rhys is out there. He's like this big fucking cloud of, like, shadows fighting a whole fucking army, killing people. Azriel and Cassian are fucking killing people, but there's so many soldiers. This is just a huge onslaught, and there's not a lot of warriors in Valeris. So people are dying. Innocent people are dying. Amren's out there, like I said, just, you die, you die, you die. So Feyre's out there, and she is, like, shooting the water dogs at people, and it's just, like, wetting them. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, what? Look at this. They're wet. They're all laughing at her, and then she closes her hand. They all freeze, fall to the ground, and shatter.
that's cool.
Yeah, so she just fucking freezes them midair. They fall and fucking shatter.
That's dope.
So everybody's fighting, and they're fighting their own forces. Well, she spots the adder, and the adder's flying away. So she's like, I'm going to follow this motherfucker. So she winnows to a rooftop, and Rhys is like, do not fucking go after it. So she completely blocks Rhys out, which is...
Not a good idea.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy that she could do that. It shows how much power she's getting. It's not a good idea, because as long as she doesn't die, you know, Rhys is going to be like, okay.
That was a good idea.
Yeah, that was a good idea. So she blocks Rhys out completely, which fucking just baffles the fuck out of him that she has that much power to do that. She winnows in the air and grabs onto the adder and stabs him with ash arrows, and then proceeds to light herself on fire. Because there's been a lot of times where we're like, she would get mad and she caused the fucking
Fire fingers.
Yeah, the fire fingers at the fucking table. So she like lights herself on fire. So she's roasting the adder as they fall to the ground. Yeah, and then right as they get towards the ground, she winnows away. He splats against the fucking ground and dies. Yeah, so she just stabbed, because she stabbed him in the wings with the ash arrow and then lit herself on fire. They fell, and he just fucking splatters all across the ground. Which, all of that stuff, the freezing them, making them fall, all that shit would be really dope if fucking Amren wasn't out there just like, you die, you die. I don't like you, you die, you die. Like, out of everybody killing people.
No, I mean, that is dope, but like, I mean, in a very theatrical, like...
Yeah, you wouldn't want to point at the adder after breaking her nose and shit and be like, you die. You want him to roast as he's going to the ground. And she's whispering in his ear. She's like, you're fucking dead. We're both going to die here, but I get to watch you fucking die and talk shit to him just in his ear. And you know, the motherfucker was fucking scared, just falling to the ground.
And now we are an explicit podcast.
Yeah, right. Well, I'd say fuck earlier.
I know, but there's like 30 in that one sentence that you just built there.
We can add bleeps. That's fine.
So they end up fixing the wards around Valeris. The assault is over. They end up fixing the wards around Valeris, and they bring in some soldiers because now they're going to head to Hybern so they could depower this cauldron. Amren was the one that was deciphering the books, by the way. That's what she was tasked with, and she has now given Feyre the spell that when you touch the cauldron, you got to say this. She also says don't put both of the books together because it'll cause an explosion that would destroy Prythian. Which, spoiler alert, she was wrong about that.
Yeah, it seems like a terrible setup.
Yeah, right. Put both the books together. She was wrong about that. I do have to say, the plan is they know Rhys is sent. So what they're going to do is they're going to go to Hybern. They're going to leave Rhys the coast, and then her, Cass, Azriel, and more are going to infiltrate the castle. Amren's going to stay back to protect Valeris because Amren's a bad bitch, or it's deity monster. I think Cthulhu. I don't know why. I got Cthulhu in my mind. Also, bringing the books together will awaken monsters that should not be awakened. So, and it might have done this. I don't fucking know. But that's the plan. Is they're going to go to Hybern. They're going to infiltrate the castle, and then she's going to touch the cauldron, depower it down, and get out before anybody recognizes that she's there. That does not sound. I was like, that's a stupid strategy. I don't think it's going to work, guys. So they fly to Hybern. They leave Rhys on the edge, and they go into the castle, and they make it all the way through the castle and get to the cauldron. And I was like, oh, plan worked. Okay, never mind. So she gets to the cauldron, and the book in the cauldron. They're like talking and everything. And it's like, you got to put the book together. So she puts the book together, and this causes her to almost pass out from like the power and everything like that. So Azrael comes up and grabs her. And right as he comes up to grab her, they hear footsteps coming down. Who do you think it is?
The king.
No.
Rhys.
Jurian.
Oh.
Jurian has been successfully resurrected. And they're like, fuck. We are fucked. So Rhys ends up coming in. As he comes in, a ward is then enacted. So they have no powers now. And before they could like understand what's going on, Jurian shoots Azrael in the chest with an ash arrow. And he's like, look, y'all are coming with me. You make any wrong fucking moves and y'all are going to die. So they go and, well, actually, technically the King of Hybern does come down to where they are. And he was like, oh, solid plan, guys. Too bad it didn't fucking work. We knew you bitches were coming. And they take him up to, I guess, like, you know, his office. And
yeah. He sits down at his desk.
Yeah. He sits down at his desk, starts typing up a document.
He's got the pile of cocaine, like
Scarface.
Yeah. Tony Montana.
So they go back up to where the King of Hybern, I guess, his chambers, and Rhys is there. I think Rhys might have came in at this moment, but the ward is enacted. They don't have any powers, so they're just fucked. They're fucked. And
so when they do that, though, does everybody lose powers, or is it just the people?
It's just the Court of Dreams that lost the powers. And also the people he tells to, he was like, you know, I've done my part of the deal. How about yours? And out from the shadows walks Tamlin and Lucian.
Sons of bitches.
Sons of fucking bitches. I was like, you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. So Tamlin had made a deal with the High Lord that he could use the borders of the Spring Court to start destroying the wall if he would get Feyre back and then break the bond that was between her and Rhys.
Is that possible to break that bond?
He has a cauldron.
So that
has immense powers.
Mating?
Also, the King of Hybern is stupid fucking powerful. I don't know if he's more powerful than Rhys is, but he seems to be very, very fucking strong. So Feyre's sitting there and she's telling Tamlin, I'm not going back with you. What the fuck are you doing, you motherfucker? I hate you so much. God, why did you do this, you traitor? And a bunch of armed guards come in. A bunch of Hybern guards come in, monsters, grotesque-looking beings. A bunch look like the Adder and stuff. And then human guards come in, and the 4 queens walk in.
Bitches.
4 of the queens walk in. Okay. So pretty much, the queens sold out Valeris because they want to use the cauldron so they can become immortal. And they're like, all right, we've fulfilled our part of the bargain too. It's time to set up the cauldron, and we want to know that it works. And he was like, all right, well, I'm going to show you guys that it works. So essentially, they're going to put people in the cauldron, turn them into Fays, immortal, so they could, because that's what the queens want. Which is crazy because the queens were like berating fucking Feyre, and they're like, yeah, you get immortality, you fucking bitch and shit. They're talking shit to her, and they're like, we want to be immortal. So for the test, they bring out 2 people. They bring out Nesta and Elaine. Yep, the Queen's guards had captured Nesta and Elaine to do this test to see if, to make sure the cauldron spell works to make them Fey and immortal. So Elaine is first. Yeah, Elaine and Nesta, Feyre sisters, are there.
I'm just thinking, like, that's a weird thing to test because it's like, we're going to see if this makes you immortal, and then it works. Then it's like, oh, well, now you're just around forever.
Well, I mean, it could kill
you
them.
could kill him.
They brought them, the queens brought them to test to see if it works. So first, they dip Elaine, and Elaine falls out. Now, this ward, too, like, nobody can move and shit. They can't move. They're fucking frozen in place. So Elaine rolls out, and she starts breathing. So it worked on her. To which Lucian just walks over to her and puts a coat around her. Like, they're supposed to be bound by this ward, and he's able to do that. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on with Lucian? Then he's just like, y'all are captured. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, everybody else can't move. I can, bitches. What, y'all just wiggle your finger. You break out of it. I don't know. So he puts a coat over Elaine and looks at her and goes, oh, fuck, you're my mate. So Elaine is Lucian's mate. And he's like, what the fuck? And Feyre's like, that ain't your mate, bitch. You fucking better recognize that that's not your mate, dumbass. So she's pissed about it. So then they go to put Nesta in. And Nesta is just fighting and does not want to go in and like, I fucking hate you and all that shit. So they dunk her in. And like, as they put her in, she's still just pointing. She's fucking pointing at the King of Hybern. Until even he goes, what the fuck? So when Nesta comes out, Feyre's like, something's different about her, powerful about her. It's like the cauldron had to try its hardest to fucking turn her into Fey. And like, she took more of the cauldron than the cauldron wanted to give her from hate and shit. Yeah. So she rolls out. She is also Fey, and apparently pretty fucking strong. We don't know yet, but she rolls out. She is Fey now. So the King of Hybern's like, good. We have proven to you that it works. Everything's good. Feyre is able to go, like, sense the wards through her mind, and she's able to break the wards, destroy the spell. And when she does that, she immediately runs to Tamlin and goes, oh, my God, Tamlin, thank you so much for saving me. He fucking had me under mind control and shit and was, forcing me to fall in love with him. And Rhys is like, no, and, like, fucking sitting there heartbroken and shit, and she is like mind telling Rhys, I'm sorry I have to do this. But she is pretty much saying to Tamlin that I'm sorry, he had me under mind control. Let's get out of here. We got to leave and shit like that. So at the same time, she's telling Moore and everybody to fucking get the fuck out of there. Just get out of there. So Tamlin looks at the King of Hybern and he says, all right, now break the connection. So he's like, all right, yep, seems like everything's good. But Tamlin says, don't kill anybody. Just break the fucking connection. We can leave, whatever. You get to destroy the wall using the spring court. So he points at Feyre and breaks the connection. The tattoo on her hand goes away. So that connection with Rhys has been broken.
That was just the bargain connection. That wasn't the mating connection.
That was not the mating connection. Nope, it broke that connection. I guess he couldn't decipher what connection he had broken.
Oh, okay.
So that tattoo goes away. And she then says, now, get him the fuck out of here. So Moore grabs the sisters. They winnow out. Rhys and Azriel and Cass, they winnow out. And Tamlin takes Feyre back to the spring court. So we then get a chapter that is Rhys's point of view. And Rhys is sitting there, and Moore's like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. How could, she do that? We got to go get her back now. And he's like, we're not getting her back. And she's like, why are we not getting her back? And he's like, because now we have a spy in the spring court. And she's like, a spy, but they broke the connection. Well, come to find out, the night after they mated, they went to a high priestess to have a ceremony, and now Feyre is the high lady of the night court.
We don't have high ladies, right?
That's right. We don't have high ladies, but she is the high lady of the night court and unequivocally equal to Rhys. Also, she has a tattoo on her left hand now that she has glamored so Tamlin cannot see it. So we find all that out, and it shoots back to the spring court. And she's like, I'm sorry, he had me under mind control. And Tamlin's like, it's okay, you're home now. And she, it hurts her belly looking at the fucking spring court and shit like that. And she's like, things got to be different this time. You got to give me freedom and stuff. And he's like, maybe, I don't know. But she looks over to Lucian, and Lucian knows that she is lying. something's up with fucking Lucian. Like, nothing is getting past this motherfucker. I don't know if it's the eye or what, but he understands that Feyre is lying, that Feyre does not love Tamlin. But at the same time, the Night Court has his mate. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he has to, he's got to play the fuck along. So as she looks, she sees that Lucian obviously understands, because he stops as they keep walking. He's just like looking at Feyre. And she looks back at him and just smiles at him and then keeps walking with Tamlin. So that's where we're at now.
That's the ending of the book?
Yep, that's the ending of the book. So what Feyre's job is because remember, the King of Hybern, Jurian are coming down to start destroying the wall. Tamlin is on their side now. You know, so now they have a spy to tell them what exactly is going on, because she has that connection with Tamlin still, or with Rhys still.
Yeah.
They can fucking
talk to each other.
Talk to each other.
Minds.
Yep, through their minds. Her other tattoo is glamored, so they can't see it. And remember, she's equal to Rhys. She's probably more powerful than Tamlin is.
Well, she's probably more powerful than Rhys is in all actuality, with all the things that she's
I think
got
once
going
everything
on.
gets fleshed out, yeah, she will eventually be more powerful than Rhys. So with the next book, I mean, I assume they're going to get into like what's going on, because Jurian's back and he's obviously going to want to find Miriam. And then Draken he's going to want to kill him. So I assume a lot of that's going to go down. And then hopefully we only spend one book being a spy for the Spring Court, and then she's able to go to the Night Court, and Tamlin fucking dies next book, I hope. God, dude, like, what a dick. What a little bitch. Just, he grew up pampered, and, you know, Feyre's mine, and then his dad's like, well, I think you guys are too powerful. He's like, well, this is where they're going to be at, so they kill his fucking mom and sister, dude. Like, just bitch mode throughout the whole fucking book.
Yeah, I'm ready for Tamlin to die and to see what's going on with the King of Hybern.
Fuck yeah,
I think it up for him to be, because if he's that strong,
yeah, he's the big bad. I think he is more
bigger
powerful
than
Rhys.
everybody, and they've not given us hardly anything about him right now.
And he's older than everybody too. I don't know. I don't think they know how old he is.
Well,
I think Rhys and Tamlin are like 5,000.
I would say he's got to be millennia old. Like,
He's crazy fucking old, and he's crazy fucking powerful. So I guess we are starting to set up for the war. We know the Mortal Queen's is a bitch. I want to find out what happened to him, because I was like, okay, it worked on Nesta and Elaine. I want that old bitch to get in and die.
Yeah.
Like, just die. I hate her more than all of them. I just want her to fucking die, because she was the one that faked being sick and shit. And was pretty much already working with the King of Hybern for immortality, because I guarantee you the yin yang queens, they seemed apprehensive about everything. So if anything, I think they will also end up being, you know, turncloak for A Court of Dreams. But there's a lot of shit set up, a lot of backstory. I still don't think Lucian is bad.
no.
I think that he's fucked up. He's went through a lot of trauma.
Well, you have loyalties. Like, you build loyalties, and even if you see like good on another side, you're gonna try and do good for your loyalty here to try and make them see the light, not necessarily turn against them and join another team. So.
And it feels like he has tried to do that, and absolute good, not just good for Tamlin, but he was like, hey man, you need to let her out of the shell and everything. Because if he'd have done that and let her train, it would have been a lot harder for Rhys to steal her away and have her see her side. But Tamlin showed his true colors, that he is a bitch. What's funny, and this is a funny thing, is after the first book, this person on TikTok, they read the first book and then got a tattoo of Tamlin. And then promptly had to read the second book and be like, oh my God.
I just got this abuser tattooed on my arm.
this monster that, you know, sells them out, and it's tough.
It's like somebody in the 80s getting a Bill Cosby tattoo. They're like, this is never going to age poorly.
Right, yeah.
He's wholesome.
He's America's dad. Yeah. He's only good. All right, guys, so the next book is A Court of Silver and Flames. What is it called? It's something like that.
Is it in here maybe?
I don't know.
Nope.
Oh, no, I'm going to see. Here we go. ACOTAR sequel. It is going to be A Court of Wings and Ruin. And then we got the Christmas special, A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is a little book. And then A Court of Silver Flame. So Wings and Ruin is next. And once again, I hope that. Also, too, yeah, I don't know if I stated this earlier in the podcast. I did not. I know that listeners want me to cover Throne of Glass next, and they are so excited for it, and they're so happy for it. Unfortunately, it is 8 books. It would take me a while to do. So instead, I'm going to cover, I think Crescent City only has 3. So I'm going to do those 3 because the new ACOTAR comes out in October, and then there's one in January. And I want to be like done with Crescent, because apparently you got to read Crescent City before you can get to the new books in ACOTAR. So I do want to do those so I can read the new ACOTAR books with my wife.
So for uninitiated, there's 3 different series. Do they connect at all?
Yeah, that's like multiverse, and like the different things kind of explain different things going on in different universes.
Okay.
So apparently something happens or things happen in Crescent City that we would have to know before the newest ACOTAR comes out.
But in the other series, what was it called?
Throne of Glass.
Throne of Glass. Is that its own world, but still you said multiverse kind of thing?
Yeah, but I can do ACOTAR and that before doing Throne of Glass.
And then we'll do...
But Crescent City is very pertinent to what's going on in ACOTAR, so I'll have to get through those. And like I said, I just want to read the new ones with my wife when it comes out. So instead of... Because Throne of Glass is... it's 8 books, and they're big old books. So I just wanted to do that. Also, guys, if you want ad-free listening, you can go to the Patreon, patreon.com/booksmywifelikes. Once again, you don't have to, but if you would like ad-free listening, you can go over there. And I believe that's it. Yeah, we're doing Wings and Ruin. So if you're hearing this now, read the first half of Wings and Ruin, because we'll be covering it in the next episode. So, guys, thank you so much. Fuck me, ruining the outro. Look at that right there. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time, guys.
Have a good one.
Later.